Hey you guys, how's it going? I am Yuto, or the Shaper31, and welcome back to another video. This one being another Yu-Gi-Oh video, and I know it's been a while, you guys. It's been a little over 3 weeks since I made my last video, and I really am sorry about that. I had to take care to get ready for college, but that's done. All I gotta do is wait for August. And normally, I like to take weekends off without making videos, and the entire last week of April, I just decided, not to work on any videos at all. And then Outlast 2 came out. And if you don't know, that's a game I've been looking forward to for a very long time, and I just had to see what that was all about. And if you don't know, I'm a huge Pokemon fan. I recently just bought the Jurassic Emulator app, and I downloaded a bunch of Pokemon games, and I want to play those too, so I've just been busy as of late. But here I am. I'm trying to make videos for you guys, and this is a video that was a long time coming, being requested by some people, and some friends telling me that they were waiting for me to make this video, and well now, the wait is over. So now that Arc 5 is over, I can finally make my own video of my top 10 favorite characters of the series. Even though this video has been done by quite a few people already, but that's besides the point. Also, legacy characters will not be included on this list. Even though I know they're technically not the same people from their original counterparts, I want this list to be exclusive to characters that were solely introduced in Arc 5. So let's get started, shall we? Number 10, which is a tie between two characters who started off strong, but just lost what felt like made them great as time went on. Starting off our list would be our main character and our leading lady, Yuya and Yuzu. Now, I couldn't really decide between these two who I like more and who I like less. They both have similar problems, and they have similar quirks. The similar quirks they have is that both of them started off very well, very strong with the potential to be my favorite protagonist and female protagonist respectively. However, similar problems in that they both derailed considerably as time went on, and just fell short of becoming my favorite female protagonist and protagonist respectively. However, since I'm a gentleman and I believe in a saying, ladies first, I'll just start with Yuzu. Now, Yuzu started off very well. She was a very strong female lead in the beginning. She was independent, had her own personality, had some spunk, and was more involved in the story than our actual protagonist at one point. Getting her own mini-arc dedicated to her learning how to fusion summoning, which is something that really no female lead has gotten so far. The closest we ever got to that was Akiza back in 5Ds learning how to become a D-wheeler, which really didn't amount to much. With her only having, I think, 2 riding duels, and that's about it. However, once the Secret Dimension came along, she pretty much began to share her role of main female protagonist with Selena, before eventually losing that status to Selena, and so just began to fade into becoming a damsel in distress who could only scream for Yuya to help her. Ugh, Yuzu, where did you go wrong? Speaking of Yuya, he started off fairly well himself, initially sporting a sad clown gimmick in order to escape the harsh realities of the world, which for me made Yuya feel more human than the past protagonist. He was picked up before the series began and developed his sad clown gimmick as a means of protecting himself and didn't want anyone else to feel that same way, and sought to use his dueling as a means of making people smile, which is something I did find interesting to see how he would do that, and him going through various trials in order to do so, which I did enjoy seeing. But as time went on, Yuya just took the phrase, "you can never have too much of a good thing," and destroyed it for me. Since when we got to the XD's dimension, his entertainment dueling began to feel more and more forced, and Agals began to feel more like a cult than anything else. You get an Agal, you get an Agal, you love the Agal, don't fight the Agal, don't resist the Agal, join the cult, meet the religion, meet the society, and just everyone smile, have fun, and have an Agal. Plenty of Agals that go around for everyone. However, despite those things, I still do like Yuya and Yuzu. Yuzu, in my opinion, is still the second best female protagonist we've gotten so far, which isn't really saying much. And Yuya, in my opinion, is still in the top 3 of all 7 protagonists we've gotten so far in Yu-Gi-Oh! Yuya's old man Yusho, who's an entertainment duelist like his son after him, and I really liked Yusho. When the time was mentioned, I was counting the episodes until we'd actually see him so I could finally see him in action. I just thought he'd be the main antagonist of the show at one point, really. I was happy to see that he wasn't. But despite Yuya's constant Agal speeches, he generally was a good entertainment duelist. And seeing as his father was built to be even better than he was, I couldn't wait to see him in action myself, and when we did, he most certainly lived up to that hype. Despite technically only having one on-screen duel, I very much enjoyed seeing him in action. Yusho's entertainment dueling felt more natural than Yuya's and was genuinely more entertaining. While I don't mind Yuya vs. Reggie being the final duel of Arc 5, I was really hoping Yuya vs. Yusho would have been the final duel of Arc 5. It just felt like the ideal closing of the show. Yuya's future dimension counterpart, Yuri, and a complete bastard, and that's one of the reasons why I like him so much. Yuri had the ideal villainous aura around him, being Yuya's polar opposite in just about every way possible. While Yuya seeks to make others happy through dueling and is compassionate towards others, Yuri sees dueling as a means of war and loves making people suffer and scoffs at the idea of dueling being used for having fun. When we first met Yuri, I thought he had the makings of being a very good villain. I couldn't get enough of him and would relish every chance we got to see him, and I was just counting down the moments until the Fusion Dimension arc came, because Yugo essentially became a main character and got more screen time in Synchro, Yuto had more screen time in XZs, and I knew we'd get more screen time from Yuri in the Fusion Dimension. And when that screen time came, it didn't disappoint. I always knew Yuri was evil, but come episode 106 onwards, he just turned that level of evil up 3,000% and was doing pretty much whatever he could to be a ginormous dick to everyone, just because he could. Whether he was kidnapping girls, killing anyone who dared to oppose him with sadistic glee, or trolling Yugo just for the LOLs, you could tell me that Yuri eats babies and kicks puppies, and I would believe you. In fact, I'm pretty sure that he has done all those things at least once. However, what prevents Yuri from being any higher on this list is how he didn't really get the redemption arc that I felt like he should have gotten and deserved. One minute, Yuri is vector levels of evil, and next, he's on friendly terms with Yuto after kidnapping Yuri, Yugo after kidnapping Ren before his eyes and trolled him for the LOLs whenever he saw him, and Yuya after essentially murdering his father before his eyes and laughed about it. And just to see him so good all of a sudden, it just came so far to left field that if Yuri's redemption had more time to be fleshed out by, I don't know, by giving him his own f***ing body, then Yuri could have easily been a #1 spot, or at least in the top 3, but now he sells for 8. My favorite of all the Bracelet Girls, even though we pretty much only had 2 of them to begin with, since Ruri and Rin were practically non-existent characters, which is a shame because I would have loved to get to know them as well. Selena is my favorite of the Bracelet Girls, and I feel like she's the only one who have never lost any of her character as time went on. I was on Neo Art Cradle forums the other day, and I found this picture which I found to be pretty hilarious, but at the same time accurate. Yuzu was the first girl, who started off well but slowly became a damsel in distress as time went on. Selena, in my opinion, is the best girl. Ruri is definitely waifu material, and appears to be the kindest of all 4 Bracelet Girls and has views similar to Yuya, but who is she without Yuto or Kurosaki? The same goes for Rin. Who's Rin? Who is she without Yugo? And we know even less about her than we do Ruri, aside from the fact that she's Yugo's tsundere-ish best friend. But even without Yuri, Selena still had her own identity, and pretty much took up the mantle of being the main female lead during the Synchro Dimension arc, where we actually got some nice development for her character, with her really seeing how it feels to have fun dueling, understanding Yuya's philosophy, seeing what it feels like to have friends, and just to be alive in general. Very nice. Very nice indeed. The student of Yusho Sekonic, and he most certainly proves that. Dennis was a character that I immediately took a liking to, and honestly, I didn't know he was with Academia until we met Yuri. Yeah, I didn't really put 2 and 2 together then. But despite his ties to Academia, we do see some confliction in his character. Dennis puts on the facade of being a harmless showman, but does genuinely love being an entertainer. And as an entertainer, he's good. Really good. Whenever Dennis is dueling, I always give him my sole attention. I just can't look away from the screen whenever he's putting on an entertainment duel. But he will put his entertainer gimmick aside for his missions, but will feel a little sullen when he's done something heinous in Academia's name, going as far as to reject Yusho's offer to rejoin the Lancers because he feels if he doesn't deserve it for all the sins he's committed in Academia's name, and goes even further by committing suicide by carding himself, feeling as if he has nowhere else to go, which I felt to be a tragic end to his character. But later on, close to the end of Arc 5 when he's revived, I found it to be really heartwarming to see he's finally at peace, no longer having to do Academia's bidding, and can be the entertainment duelist that he wants to be, and can happily teach Yusho's entertainment dueling to the kids of Heartland, even though he's the one who destroyed it. A heartwarming end to Dennis' character, if you ask me. Sora was actually quite a surprise for me when I began to watch Arc 5. I honestly didn't think there was anything suspicious about him until the big reveal in his duel with Kurosaki that he was from Academia. Initially, I thought Sora was going to be like Yuya's Joey, or his sidekick, but no, that was gone Ginsuka. After finding out that he's from Academia, I thought he'd turn on Yuya and Yuzu and assist in kidnapping her and take her to Academia, but it turns out he turned on Academia for Yuya and Yuzu. And then I thought he'd be carded towards the end of the series, but instead he played a part in the battle against Zark. Sora was someone who continuously surprised me over the course of the series. When I think he'd do one thing, he'd do another. I thought X happened to him, but Y happened instead. When I first saw Sora in the Synchro Dimension still sporting those slasher smiles, I was sure he'd backstab Yuya, but then he told Yuya that he has no intention of giving Yuzu to Academia, since he feels like her and Yuya are his first actual friends, and genuinely does care about them. I didn't really fully trust Sora until he saved Tsukikage from the Obelisk Force and teaming up with him to rescue Yuzu. I began to like him more and more from that point on, and toward the final stretch of the series when he officially joins the Lancers and makes a stand against Zark and tries to reach Yuya to no avail, to see him actually crying showed me that he really did change for the better, and permanently made him one of my favorite characters of this entire series. Our main rival of the series, Reggie, and there are a plethora of words that can be used to describe him. The ace, the chess master, the genius, but the best word I can think of is the badass, because that's exactly what he is. Reggie is hands down one of the coolest characters I have seen from the entire Yu-Gi-Oh anime. I mean, let's look at this track record, shall we? Complete mastery over every extra deck mechanic, can create infinite OTK loops, a pro duelist who runs his own company at the age of 16, nearly flawless dueling record, has a scarf that can defy gravity, and can drive a speedboat like he's from CSI Miami. Oh no, not yet, I didn't set up for that kind of joke. But anyway, yeah, Reggie definitely qualifies. You could tell me that Reggie created Link Summoning, the VR system, dual boards, and the entire V-Reigns universe, and I will believe you. In fact, I'm like 94% sure that Reggie did do all those things. We just haven't been told that yet. But in all seriousness, the fearless leader of the Lancers. What more can you say about Reggie? The resident badass who's always 3 steps ahead of everyone. Each step is for a D. 3 Ds, DDD. Some of the coolest monsters I've ever seen. Temujin, Alexander, Caesar, and Kali Yuga. As in Kali, you gonna get wrecked. Kurosaki Shui'iun was one of my favorite characters for the longest from Arc 5, but after rewatching the series, he's been eclipsed by 2 other people, but still has the number 3 spot for his character development and from just how cool he was during the entire show. Initially, the perpetually angry loner who went on a rampage through Standard Dimension to find his sister and didn't think to trust anyone, because he's been through some shit. And then we see the shit he's been through. With Academia coming out of nowhere and turning Heartland from a peaceful city into a war zone where citizens were essentially killed, and his sister was kidnapped in the midst of all the chaos. So can you really blame him for the attitude he had at the beginning? But thankfully, as time progressed, he began to mellow out and accept the Lancers as comrades and later as friends. And words can't express how happy I was to see him reunite with his sister after so long. But immediately after that, I can't help but feel bad for him because she was his entire motivation in the show, and turned an entire city upside down just to find her, and when he does find her, he can't even have a whole 30 seconds to be happy with her, and those less than 30 seconds he had with her would be the last time he gets to be happy with her since he's practically dead at the end of the series. And as if losing his sister wasn't bad enough, he loses his best friend as well. Kurosaki himself has said that with Route Ruri and Yuto, pretty much all he has left now is dueling, and I just feel so bad for him. Leo, you are the biggest dick in the entire Yu-Gi-Oh anime. Regardless, Kurosaki was a badass. When you blast a guy with a mechanical falcon from the Earth's atmosphere and leave a massive crater on the Earth because of it, and consistently whoop ass left and right, you really don't get any cooler than that. And now we come to another longtime favorite of mine, Yuto. And out of all the U-Boys, I find Yuto to be the most realistic and relatable because, like with Kurosaki, he's been through some shit and reacts to it in a fairly normal manner. Before the invasion of Heartland, I would say Yuto was definitely the happiest of the U-Boys. He was going to a school to become a pro duelist, had a friendly rivalry with another school, he had a good set of friends from both his school and the rival school, lived in a peaceful city, and had what you could argue was a girlfriend, who convinced him that dueling can be about making people smile in addition to having fun. Yeah, I would definitely say Yuto had the best time of his counterparts before the series began, then everything changed when the Fire Nation attacked. Wait, what? Who wrote this in my script? Never mind. Anyway, after Heartland was destroyed and Reggie was kidnapped, Yuto is taking as well as Kurosaki is, but choosing to go about his anger in a different way. While Kurosaki is out wrecking everything, Yuto is taking a more calm approach and trying to find a peaceful way to get information on Rory's whereabouts, and he uses violence as a last resort as a way to honor her wishes. And later, once he goes to Heartland, he sees that Academy attacked again while he and Kurosaki were gone. He reached a breaking point to where he knows dueling can be used to make people smile, but wants Academy to pay for the damage they cause, which is something I can relate to. Normally, I'm the one who's calm, doesn't like violence, and believes that things can and should be worked out peacefully. But a person can only take so much before they reach a breaking point and just say, it, and just throw those ideas out the window. On one hand, Yuto wants to honor Rory's wishes and beliefs, but on the other, he wants to seek retribution on Academia, even though he knows it's not the right thing to do. It was disappointing to see that Yuto basically died in the first act of the series, because among all the U-Boys, I found him to be the most interesting and human, and even more sad that he didn't get the happy ending that you'd expect him to have. Rather than live the rest of his life in peace with Rory and Kurosaki in Heartland, he has to live out the rest of his life inside of Yuya. However, as much as I like Yuto, there's just one more character I like a little teeny bit more than him. Now, before I unveil the number one spot, as usual tradition on my channel, some honorable mentions, characters I like but just fall short of making this list. My favorite character of Yu-Gi-Oh! Arc 5 is definitely Yugo, even if it is by a very narrow margin. Yugo was a character that I immediately took a liking to, because he has a cool bike, he's a synchro user, has a boss monster, but then again, who needs Clearwing Synchro Dragon when you have frickin' Greninja? A lot of his duels were really good and some of my favorites of the series, and for really just how goofy he was. While I can relate to the more calm and serious Yuto, I love characters like Yugo who I can have a lot of fun with. Yugo out of all the U-Boys does appear to be the most innocent and naive, being completely out of the loop about what he's a part of. Out of all the U-Boys, he feels more like the underdog, which is a character who we all can relate to, as well as root for, in that he grew up in the slums, is an orphan, spent who knows how much time toiling over a D-wheel so he and Rin can make a better life for themselves. And when Rin was kidnapped, she becomes his primary motivation for what he does in the series, and I really wanted him to save her since she's really the only thing he has in life aside from their D-wheel. And when they reunited in episode 116, I just felt my heart flutter at that scene. I forgive you, Rin. You know you're complaining about me rescuing you and kicked me in the stomach for being late. All is forgiven. Oh, this really is a nice room you have. That lamp, and that bed. Do you think that maybe we could... Ugh, I was gonna say take it with us. It's such an estrogen Molotov cocktail, you know that, Rin? But then, come the next episode, I felt so bad for Yugo, where he essentially lost everything in the span of a few minutes, like Yuto, when a brainwashed Rin brushed everything they've been through together and wrecked their D-wheel with complete indifference, which would be the last time he sees her alive, making all the time he spent looking for her fruitless. But really, the best word I can use to describe Yugo is fun. I like Yuto and Yugo almost equally, but Yugo barely edges him out and claims the number one spot. But then again, if you took a closer look at my avatar, you would know who my favorite character of Arc 5 is. And there you have it, you guys. Those are my top 10 favorite characters of Yu-Gi-Oh! Arc 5. Who are your favorite characters? Let me know in the comment section below, and this will be my last video for a while. Like I said in the beginning, I downloaded a bunch of Pokemon games, and a lot of which I have never played before, and I've been looking forward to playing them for a very long time. So I just want to take some time to play those games. When I finish one of them, I'll go back to making videos. I still have plenty of ideas for Yu-Gi-Oh! Themed videos, but I am running low on ideas for Pokemon themed videos. And plenty of these games will give me more ideas. Also, Yu-Gi-Oh! V-Reigns has started, and I will review the first episode, maybe second as well, but after that, I'll just probably do one big recap on what I've missed while I play these Pokemon games. So that's it for now, you guys. Until then, I am Yugo, or the Shape H31 Clearwing Synchro Dragon. Stay gold, everyone, and I will see you all another day.